Welcome to Sunnybrook's annual Champions for Our Children event. My name is Merle Great. I'm the director here at Sunnybrook. Our event started 6 years ago as a dinner, and like so many of our larger gatherings, over the past 2 years, it has changed, it has transformed into an online gathering, an online event. We want to say a thank you to all of our event sponsors, both old and new. We want to say thank you to all the individuals who've supported us throughout the years and those new ones who've come on for the first time. The Champions Dinner is our only fundraising event of the year. It raises much needed funds so that we're able to provide this ministry to these young people. Sunnybrook has been ministering to the young people, the children of Mississippi, for over 58 years. For the majority of that time, we acted as a group home, so that when children who have been removed from their parents' custody by the state would be placed here, placed into a group home with other children like them, raised by a set of house parents in a stable Christian home environment. Because of the changing landscape for the foster care system over the past decade, Sunnybrook has changed with it and adjusted our focus. We work exclusively now with transitional age youth. That means youth who are age 16 to 20, who may be exiting the foster care system or who have already exited the foster care system. Our Transitional Living program is preparing these young people to be active, engaged Christian members of their communities. Thanks to you, this change is happening. Marshall Ramsey, the author, the cartoonist, the radio talk show host, the artist, has a passion for these young people as well. He's agreed to come and share his heart with us. Thank you, Marshall, for the time. Thank you for each one of you for your support of our residents and our ministry to them.
Hi, I'm Marshall Ramsey, editor-at-large and cartoonist for Mississippi Today, and it's really an honor to be able to talk to you today and to be able to represent a great organization like Sunnybrook Children's Home. I'll tell you what, I got to tell you a quick story here, a story that happened to me a couple years ago. It was about a cartoon that taught me a very valuable lesson about what we do on a daily basis and how that can make a difference in someone's life. Okay, well, let's go back to when Barbara Bush passed away. Now, as most of you know, Barbara Bush was the former First Lady, George H.W. Bush's wife and George W. Bush's mother. And she had COPD, and now my mom had COPD, and she passed away from that. So I knew that when they announced on the news that Barbara Bush was going to be taken off of treatment, I knew that she didn't have long to live. So I thought, well, maybe I'll do a nice obituary cartoon about her. And I was thinking about her life, and here she was, rich. Her husband was a president, her son was a president, her son was a governor, her children were successful, her grandchildren were successful. She had everything in life, but she had suffered the worst loss that any parent could possibly suffer. She'd lost a child. So I was thinking about, okay, well, I'll have her being reunited with her daughter, Robin, up in heaven. Now, as you'll notice in this form right here, this is not how the original cartoon looked. This is the cartoon that I showed my editor, and I changed it a little bit. I flipped it around to where I had Robin running toward her mother. And, I started thinking for a second, would Robin recognize her mother with white hair and pearls? We would recognize her because that was, of course, Barbara Bush's look. So I wrote the little word mama, and I think that's what made the cartoon really special. Well, anyway, I drew it like at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I posted it, and within a couple hours, this had happened. I saw that Jenna Bush Hager, who is, of course, George W. Bush's daughter and Barbara Bush's granddaughter, had posted it on her Instagram account. And as you'll notice, by this time, it had got 120,000 likes. It had gone totally viral. And Jenna, it was really funny. Jenna wrote originally, someone sent this to me. I don't know the artist, but I love her. So for just a short amount of time, I was a woman, and my wife was very happy because she said, now I have empathy. And then I saw Jeb Bush Jr. posted. I didn't even know there was a Jeb Bush Jr. Bottom line was the family loved the cartoon, and that meant a lot to me, and I thought that was very, very special. Then I got a call from the Today Show. Now, I don't know how many of you get calls from the Today Show. I don't normally get calls from the Today Show. In fact, I never get calls from the Today Show, but they called me up and they said, well, Mr. Ramsey, we love the cartoon, and obviously it meant a lot to Jenna, and we'd like to put it on all of our platforms. Well, that's a really fancy way of saying, we would like to use your cartoons and not pay you for it. And I was like, well, that's fine, because Jenna liked the cartoon. I said, yeah, go ahead. Jenna herself tweeted this out, saying, "This image is such a comfort. It depicts what we know to be true. My precious Ganny reunited with her precious angel. Thank you for this." I started hearing from families who had lost children. Mothers who had lost their children, fathers who had lost their children, sisters. For instance, you may never know how many of us you have impacted. I lost my little sister in 1948 to leukemia and lost my son in 2014 to colon cancer. Your cartoon expresses the living hope that we anticipate. My brother, 6, was killed when a speeding vehicle hit him as he retrieved his ball across the road. I was 13. My life and my family is forever changed. My mother was never the same after losing her child. The impact of your drawing pierces deeply, yet comfortingly. Thank you. Each and every day, we have the honor of waking up with a blank canvas. And a piece of art of mine, it made a difference in people's lives. And it was really, really wonderful. And I never thought it would ever happen again, but it did. A few months later, as you know, President George H.W. Bush passed away. And so I quickly drew up this cartoon right here. I had his plane from World War II, which of course, as you know, he got shot down and survived from. And then I had him meeting Robin and Barbara up in heaven. And so it was just a simple cartoon, I thought, okay. And I posted it online about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then suddenly my phone went off like a slot machine in Vegas. Ding, 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 ding. I started getting all these notifications and everything. Well, I turned on the TV and Brett Baer from Fox News was talking about it on the air. And then I get a call from CNN. I'm like, okay, so Fox and CNN now agree on something. I've really pulled off a minor miracle. Once again, I started hearing from the parents who'd lost their children. And it just taught me a really, really important lesson. That every single morning, we are given a blank canvas. We're all artists. Yeah, that blank canvas, that's our day. And our attitudes, well, those are the colors that we use, and our efforts are the brushstrokes we use. So we get to do that. We get a chance every single day to make a difference in someone's life. Now, what does that difference mean? Well, a couple of years ago, I had a chance to be able to do a TEDx talk. That was really fun, and the topic was, how do we change Jackson in 200 years? Now, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how to change Jackson in 200 years. I'm not even sure how to do it in 100 years, to be honest with you, but I do know how to change the next generation. And that's one of the things that they do so well at Sunnybrook. Let me show you that. In fact, I'm going to use the tree example that I used in my TEDx talk because I think that is such a great metaphor to how you can change someone's life. I guess a good place to start would be the incredible fertile soil here in Mississippi. Now, what I mean by fertile soil is that we have some of the most incredible children here in Mississippi. Now, I've lived here 25 years, and I've been around to schools and been able to help out and be able to visit with kids, and I have never seen a place with more potential when it comes to our children. But sometimes, you know, they need some help. They need a little bit of fertilizer, a little bit of water, a little bit of love. And that love and that fertilizer and that water grow deep roots into the soil. That's what we do here at Sunnybrook. You get workforce training, that's a root. You get financial education, that's another one. You even teach a kid how to drive. You talk about independence, you don't even think about that. If someone doesn't know how to drive, here in Mississippi particularly, it's not like they can catch the train. You know, these things, these little things that help keep and support a person are the roots. You have continuing education. How important is that? We all know that. We know that the world is changing at an incredibly rapid pace. You get your college, you get your GED. You learn those life skills. I mean, even keeping a checkbook. The little things that we sometimes take for granted, but they make a big difference in a child's life. And then you get psychological care. Because you think about it, a lot of the damage that they may have suffered in their lives will continue to haunt them as adults unless they get somebody that loves them and cares for them now. These are the things that you can help support here at Sunnybrook. Well, you see, you get those deep roots that go down into the ground, and you know how the trees are. We saw it after Katrina. If the trees didn't have the deep roots and that wind started blowing, what happened? Those trees fell down. They fell down hard and they caused damage to the tree, damage to those around them. So you want to build that strong trunk. You get a job, you learn those life skills, you obtain your driver's license. and you're able to get your own apartment, you start making good choices in your life. You break the cycle of dependency. You get a healthy family, you go out and purchase a car with cash. How cool would that be? And as you can see from that tree, when those arms, those branches start reaching toward the sky, that's where you start reaching toward dreams. That's where you start living toward a great life. And on those branches, you see some beautiful fruit start to blossom. You can tell the health of a tree by its fruit. It's an old biblical saying, you can tell the health of Mississippi by its children. And you have the ability to plant those seeds to be able to help change not only this generation, but several generations to come by donating and making a big difference in a child's life. Without your donation, that canvas would remain blank. And to be honest with you, this fruit would not be possible. In closing, I just wanted to say thank you for your continued support of Sunnybrook and supporting its vision of ending the cycle of dependency and growing beautiful fruit.